Alright, hello fellow gamers, welcome back to another episode of Super Monday Night Combat. You are here with Kelldal, and we are going to be playing some Megabeth. So in this episode, we'll talk a little bit about some of Megabeth's abilities and some kind of tips when playing with her, or even playing against her. And we'll also talk about losing games, because this is a defeat. I'm going to tell you that right up front. We do not do too well in this game. The main reason for that is because we do have one person that leaves a little bit later in the game, but before he ends up leading, he ends up feeding the other team quite a bit. So the majority of our team ends up being underleveled. So we'll talk a little bit about that, because when people kind of experience that, or if you don't know what you're doing and you end up feeding the team and you have a bunch of people yelling at you, it discourages a lot of people from playing, and that's a big reason that a lot of people end up just kind of rage quitting and leaving the game. Alright, so we are playing on Gun Mountain here. So this is a pretty fun map. I actually really enjoy it. And the kind of big features of this map are the two giant gun turrets on either side. Alright, so right off the bat with Megabeth, I like to upgrade her offense. It's going to be really good, and starting off and getting a lot of those bot kills, it's going to be very important to kind of get those. You'll also notice that she can rocket jump, so I jumped right up to the top here without upgrading those jump pads. So that's going to be kind of a big advantage for her early on in the game, is that she can get up to the top.
Can I get front row seats?
And that's going to be very useful, because you'll notice as these bots come around this corner, I'm going to fire those rockets right down into that group, and all of that splash damage as it hits the ground is going to just take out a lot of those bots. Alright, so that is going to be kind of the main advantage for Megabeth, and where most of your damage is going to be coming from, is doing a lot of that splash damage using her rockets and taking out groups of bots. You really want to, kill those bots. That's where you're going to get the majority of your experience from. So here you'll notice her grapple attack does knock the enemy back a bit. So keep an eye out on the surroundings. See if you can find any places where you can get ring outs on opponents. It's going to be really good to get some easy kills where you don't have to do, the full damage to take out that person, if you can just do one quick grapple and kick them off. Alright, so the three abilities that Megabeth has is her Derby Disco, which is her left shift ability. That is the first ability that I like to upgrade after offense and defense on this pro. It does quite a bit of damage, and it can damage multiple enemies. So you'll see me use it quite a bit. It's really good for kind of passing through multiple enemies and stunning bots as well, or slowing down pros. The next ability, the E ability that you saw me just use there, Shoot the Moon, is a little bit of a speed boost. It does do some damage right behind, as I guess some rocket energy comes out of her roller skates. So you can damage some enemies, so it's kind of good if you're getting hard pressed by a group. Hit that to escape, because you're going to do a little bit of damage to them. You're going to jump out of that group, hopefully escape from getting grappled, and then you have a speed boost to kind of retreat, find some Regenitol, or get back to your spawn point. The last ability, which you won't really see me use too much in this game, is the spin attack. And I'll talk a little bit more about that later when you see me use it on some bots. So it's at this point in the game where I notice that we actually aren't doing too well. So we have our assault that's running up there. He's less than half health, and he is still kind of popping around that corner and trying to do damage. I take a quick look at the score. He's last on the list. He already has 3 deaths, and it's only 3 minutes into the game. And there he goes again for a forced death. I tried to tell him to back up, but he really doesn't realize what he is doing. Probably is very new to the game, doesn't know what's going on. So this is a really huge detriment because he's going to end up feeding the other team. So all these players over here that are getting those kills on him, they're getting experience and money for that. Experience and money that they are now using against me, making it a lot harder for me to play the game and to, you know, push back against these guys. So I am doing all I can to get as many bot kills as I can to stay leveled up, because really taking out these players that are getting all this experience from killing my teammate over and over again is really going to make it really difficult for me to take them on one-on-one. Alright, so the Annihilator is almost up, so we've pushed back this lane a little bit, so I'm going to go ahead and level up my stuff really quick, and then I will be ending up stepping off to the side to try and help out with that Annihilator. So let's take out these bots right here. And now I can head off to the side. Since the Annihilator is up, I jump up, so I don't see anyone down there right now. And so now I notice that someone is activating it, go in to grapple and get him off of it. Unfortunately, I'm a second too late to do that, and they come in and kill me off. I'm not sure where the rest of my team was at that point.
Hit me again.
But we did not have a lot of backup on the Annihilator there. Alright, so I get back in my lane, make sure that doesn't get pushed up too much. So you notice right there, there's a beam that was on the assault there from my rocket launcher. Helped me get that kill. So that beam kind of locks on your rockets to enemy pros. You can aim it out there and it helps kind of curve your rockets towards them. During that time, you have to manually reload your rocket launcher if you want to reload. There I am using it again. And so it really helps for people, especially if they're jumping around quite a bit, to get those rockets off and to really kind of hit them directly if you don't have that height advantage to really shoot the ground. So here we're pushing the left lane up quite a bit, putting a lot of pressure on this turret. Unfortunately, their team kind of notices fairly quickly and comes out to clear us out.
Leo kill.
So here our assault has already died 8 times this early on in the game, only about 6 minutes into the game. So this is a huge detriment. Most of their team is much higher level, either 1 to 2 levels higher than our highest level person. And so that is causing a huge disadvantage to us. So here I notice that half of my team that's pushing the right lane is almost kind of towards their money ball, but our left lane has bots taking down our last turret, so I try to get their attention because you don't want to lose sight of when you have bots right at your money ball. You can do all the pushing you want on one lane, but if you're not paying attention to both lanes, you can have them come in and take you out pretty quickly. So here's that third ability, that whirling dervish attack. So she spins around in a circle, really good for groups of bots that kind of have their focus on something else, so that way you're not going to be taking a lot of damage. Because that's kind of a huge downside to it, is you are very vulnerable to attacks, especially long-range attacks. So a lot of kind of new players playing Megabeth will get into a habit of, whenever they have any pros kind of getting in close combat with them, they immediately activate that, thinking that it's going to do a lot of damage. When in reality, that pro is most likely just going to back off out of the range of that damage and shoot you repeatedly until you die. So you really only want to use it on groups of bots that are focusing on maybe a turret or other pros or something like that. You've got other things for them to shoot at, or if there's a lot of kind of chaos going on with other pros, and you can go in and kind of just add to the damage. So here we're able to take down that turret. I throw my disco out there to freeze the turret so you can freeze bots and turrets with it. It's extremely helpful in that regard because if you don't have a turret shooting out your bots, then that's just going to mean that you're going to be able to do that much more damage to it. So we push them quite forward, and I start heading back to our money ball because our right lane is kind of pushed pretty far back, so I want to go back there to support them. Take out this fire base really quick, that's in my way.
Iceman veteran back in the game.
Put your mask on.
And head back around here. So here I notice that Assault is sitting still, lock onto him, and take him out with a quick 4 rockets.
Look out, hotshots.
So again, those direct hits with that lock-on ability is can be extremely deadly.
15 seconds until the
If you're fighting against Megabeth, keep moving, because if she locks onto you and you're not moving and you get hit by those rockets, they're going to do a lot of damage to you. It's not like if you stop moving for a second and just get hit by a couple bullets from some of the other pros. If you get hit by one of those rockets, it's going to take a huge chunk of your life.
Hotshot support return. They need to start spawning some bots now.
So now that we are down a player and it is now 5 versus 4, it's very hard to kind of keep control of a map. Even with good players, when you're down one person, you're going to have, you know, those moments where you're just going to be outnumbered by one pro, and that's going to make all the difference there. So it's at this point in the game where I really know that this is kind of a lost cause. We were able to push back quite a bit on both lanes, but not having kind of the control of the entire map, control of the Annihilator, and the Shellys on each side of the map is really going to kind of lose the game for us. So at this point, I'm just kind of messing around. I see the Assault was low health, so I decided to go over and get a quick kill on him. I know there's really not much more I can do at this point to salvage this game.
Boom, the Hotshot's money ball hits the floor.
Our highest level people are at level 10. More than half of their team is higher than that. So basically our entire team is underleveled at this point. All I could really do is keep up my bot kills. You'll notice that I have about twice the amount of bot kills as the rest of my team. That's really what kind of kept me leveled up at that point, since there wasn't much I could do to kill other pros because they were fed early on in the game. Alright guys, well thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this game, and hope you learned some tips about Megabeth and you know, dealing with feeders and whatnot. Just don't rage quit. There's always time to play another game, and I'll see you next time on another episode of Super Monday Night Combat. See you later.